Peace and blessings, fam. Brother Rob, Yobè Afrikan Martial Arts. In this lesson, guys, you're going to learn all about the spinning back knuckle, which, of course, doesn't always have to be a fist. Doesn't always have to hit with the knuckle, right? You can hit with chops. You can do other parts of the hand. We understand that in Yobè Afrikan Martial Arts. So let's talk about this technique a little bit. First of all, with any spinning attack, it's important to understand that it's not really, typically, it shouldn't be your first course of action, right, in the situation, because anytime I'm spinning around, right, I'm giving you my back, at least temporarily, right? I'm turning my back towards you. Even if I'm coming with an attack, like a back knuckle here, look at my position, right? It's going to be very hard for me now to defend myself when my back is turned. I need to recover either back to my original position, or I need to bring my foot through and recover back into the opposite position. So either way, I need to get back to a defensive posture where I'm facing my opponent. So just be cautious when you're utilizing back fists or back knuckles and spinning back kicks, spinning type of attacks, because giving your opponent your back or showing them your back oftentimes will be, it can be disastrous, right? If they are rushing in and they just grab you from behind, okay? So just know that that is a possibility anytime you're doing these type of attacks. Sometimes I'll do these because my opponent's already towards my back, and the only attack I have is to try to back fist or back knuckle or do some kind of like a spinning back kick. Those may be my only real options, okay? So just understand that. And that kind of flows into the principle of flow, right? We understand with our strikes in Yobè Afrikan Martial Arts, we're focused on the energy of happy, right? We want our strikes to be like water, right? Water, happy being the term for the Nile, the river, right? And the Kemetic term for water, in terms of that embodiment of water, the Neteru for water, okay? So we want to be able to flow like water with our strikes. And utilizing spinning attacks is sometimes the best way to be able to do that. Because in that way you're not limited to one way of attacking, which is just straight or just right in front of the guy, okay? So anyway, let's cover how to do a spinning back knuckle here. So there's two ways I'm going to show you guys. So the first way, and they're really not very different. They're really the same way. The first way I'm going to show you is a little bit less committed. So generally when I do this, I'm going to, similar to the spinning back kick, I'm going to step across, right? If I have time. Sometimes you don't have time. The guy's already to your back. Go ahead and just spin and hit him, okay? And this applies, because I can do this as an elbow too, right? You can do this as an elbow. Either way is good, okay? So just know that. But I'm going to go ahead and step across. And when I step across, I'm going to go ahead and start looking for this back fist. It'll be this kind of motion, right? So I'm here. I might throw something in his face as I step across just to disguise my movement, disguise what my foot's doing. I throw something in his face. I'm rotated here. So I have the elbow here potentially, but I'm going to extend the elbow for this back knuckle. Now notice my back knuckle, no matter how flexible I am, it's pointed this way. But my opponent is on this straight line behind me. So no matter how flexible I am, I can't rotate this quite enough, okay? So what needs to happen is your left foot or your back foot needs to come with you, at least a little bit, until you can get to this point, okay? At least a little bit. Now, I'm bringing it very slight because in this case, I want to spin back around and return back to my original posture with my right side forward. If you want to return back to your original posture and spin back around, that's the best way to do it, is to come here and bring your leg just part way. Okay, obviously your feet are a little bit close together. It is what it is, right? But that's the technique. Okay, so I'm here, boom, and my foot just comes part way, and I can still hit through the target with the back knuckle here, or the chop, or scrape with the fingers or the hand, whatever it is I'm trying to do, or just backhand them, whatever it is you're trying to do in that situation, okay? But it's here, boom, and it ends right here. Now, on the extension here, I'm extending from the elbow, and then it'll open up, right? Elbow stays slightly bent, so you can see from this angle, slightly bent, then it opens up. It opens up, and then I flip the wrist back to isolate the knuckles. And I'm hitting with any part of the knuckle, typically the middle two knuckles probably is more what you're kind of connecting with. Maybe the bottom three, but definitely the middle two you're typically going to be connecting with this type of attack. Now, the next iteration of this one is I'm going to spin all the way around now. Now, also there's a difference in range, right? So if I'm only going to spin part way, in this case, I'm going to show you this against Bob here. If I'm only going to spin part way as I step through, right, I brought my foot over just very slightly, and I have a certain distance here, okay? But I started at this range. I started this range, and I have a certain distance. If I need more range, And if I'm back here for some reason, and typically you're not going to throw a back fist at this far range, but you might, or maybe your opponent's moving back. Either way, if I feel like I need more distance, then I can be here. So when I take that step across, I'm taking a step across here, like we did previously. I'm turning, rotating, but now I can't reach them. If I bring my foot over, I still can't reach them. So in this case, your foot comes all the way through, and now you can reach your target. So that's the second variation, is pulling your foot all the way through. So once I step across and I rotate, I'm going to pull my foot all the way through. And now it puts me, what? My left side's forward now. So that's going to be more of a longer range spinning back fist, where I'm stepping across, boom, and I'll come through this way, okay? So again, I'm at this range. Maybe I don't know, again, who knows the situation where you need to use a more longer range back fist. I like the idea of it because it automatically puts you in a different position where now I've already recovered. As soon as I hit the back fist, I'm already back into a fighting position where I'm facing the guy, as opposed to the other iteration where I'm closer. But in this case, and I hit the back fist, well now, oh crap, maybe I hit him, maybe I missed. Either way, I'm in a bad spot right here. I'm not in a good position to be able to mount any kind of offense because I don't have any other, I can't punch him very well. Maybe I can spin back around, okay, you know, or do something else. Maybe I can kick him. You know, I don't know, okay? But generally, you're in a bad spot. Whereas, you know, the last version, right, where I'm spinning all the way through, boom, I'm in a much better position because one of the follow-ups to this is to be able to, boom, throw more of a hooking style punch on afterwards, right? Like the kopesh, right, where you're hooking through and striking with the fist or the palm or the hand, whatever it is you want to hit them with. So that's your second version. And again, I like that one a lot better because it recovers you a lot faster. Now, there is a variation off of the variation, right? So like I mentioned, I don't have to step all the way through. I'm in a bad spot. My feet are very close together. If I pull the foot all the way through, I hit the guy. I'm in a better position. But this is a very long range attack. You're not normally going to do a back fist from this range. When at this range, you're probably going to kick the guy because kicks are longer than your punches. You're probably not going to try to punch. I'm too short to punch, and maybe I can do a spinning attack and that'll hit them, but that's a long delivery, right? It takes a long time for that punch to get to them, whereas a kick is going to be faster to be able to touch them and reach them. So the last variation off of this one is the variation off of that second version of this. So this time, when I spin around, I'm still going to bring my foot all the way through. But when I bring my foot all the way through, I'm not going to bring it that far through. In other words, I'm going to spin, and my foot is going to come very short, okay? Very short, meaning that it's just going to spin here, okay? And I'm going to do that a little bit slower for you guys, okay? So in other words, once I spin, I'm spin, 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 spin. Here, notice where I land. My feet are very close, and then I'm going to step out here. I'm going to show you guys this on this side. It's just because sometimes it's easier without the words and letters at the bottom, so you can kind of see from this angle. But if I'm here, I'm close to the guy, I'm going to go ahead and throw some junk to set this up. In this case, I'm setting it up. You may not set it up, but I'm going to set it up by throwing something in his face so I can disguise my turn here. As I'm spinning, instead of stepping all the way through, this is going to bring me really close to the guy. If I'm throwing an elbow, this is great. But you see, this brings me too close for a back fist. My fist is going past his head, right? So instead of coming that far, as I set this up and I spin, my back foot is going to step here. See how close my feet are. Back foot's going to step here. I'm still looking at the guy. And then my front foot will step out. And that will keep me in range to be able to throw this attack. And that's most likely how you're going to actually throw this here. Boom, is right here. So it takes a little bit of footwork, okay? It takes a little bit of footwork, right? Step, step, boom. So it is multiple steps. Instead of it just being a full pivot, really is what we call it, a full pivot. A full pivot is anytime you're rotating like so, right? So my back foot rotates in front of my front foot. That's what you do with a back knuckle, except you're going the opposite way, right? That's a full pivot. It's essentially, it is a full pivot, but now you're adding the full pivot. So I'm still stepping here, but I'm adding a half step back at the end of that full pivot. So it is and I'll get a little bit closer. It is a full pivot here, right? This spin, this rotation, boom, but I'm adding that step back so I can be in range and also recover faster to be able to keep hitting my opponent. Now, if I know I'm just going to hit this and, he's going to be done, then yeah, I can do this and maybe the fight's over. But you watch some fights, the guy does that, and now the opponent's just jumped on his back. And then next thing you know, he's on the ground. He's in a bad spot. He's getting ground and pound. He's getting punched in the head. And it's a bad night. All off of one mistake, okay? It doesn't take much. It just takes one mistake. So this is the different ways in which you can utilize this. But again, this is just what we do in African martial art, that we understand there's more than one way to do a technique. You know, a lot of people do that, but that's one of the things that is certainly, you know, specific to African martial art in terms of what it's specific in the sense that you can't do African martial arts without that. Okay, if you're doing African martial art and you only have one way of doing a technique, right, or maybe even two ways of doing a technique, then you're not doing African martial arts, because we understand that in reality there's variations, and then there's our own inherent creativity, and we can just make crap up and it works. Okay, but that's good. That's how we are. Okay, and that's nothing wrong with that. Okay, but you will sometimes make stuff up on the fly. You will sometimes, oh, okay, I need to readjust my distance, or maybe I need a longer distance. Okay, whatever the case is, you're gonna adjust things on the fly as you need to. Okay, that's just the reality of fighting and you know, survival. You know, frankly. So anyway, guys, we'll see you in the next lesson.
A man with my knowledge, what can you tell a man like me now? What's your suggestion? That's your question. Okay, you talking to me, not a dumb nigger or a pork chop eater, don't know the truth. I'm free now. I woke up. Now, what are you going to tell me now? I done gave you my solution, some land of my own, doing something for myself like you, England, and America do. Now, I know you're not against the black man. I know you're not against me having my land, are you? I know you English done ruled and slaved forever for a long time. But do you still today don't want me to have my own country and build for myself and govern myself? Would you think that's bad if we thought like that?